August 5th, called to order at 6 o'clock. Can I get everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will you do the roll call?
He is absent and excused. Trustee Boyne? Here. Trustee Martin is here. Trustee Frazier?
Here.
Treasurer Bud?
Here.
The clerk is present. The supervisor is also absent today, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you. The agenda will consist the consent agenda, which is doing the business and taking care of the bills and payables for the township. And we have no public hearings, no unfinished business. The new business is to consider a consultant for the township property, and then to consider a letter of understanding with the city of Belleville, and to consider a quote to have some HVACs replaced, and also to consider approval of a new tavern license. Hearing that, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make the motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Support.
I have a motion from Clerk Wright, supported by Trustee Martin. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, thank you. I now need a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept and approve the consent agenda, which consists of the following: board meeting minutes of July 15th, 2025, closed session meeting minutes of July 15th, 2025, the prepaid lists of July 17th, July 24th, July 31st, all of 2025, the voucher list of August 5th, 2025, approval of Resolution 2025-21, agreement to enter the Charter County of Wayne and the Township of Van Buren for the Van Buren Township Lake House Project, approval of the 2025 Suburban Mobility Authority for Regional Transportation contract. This is an annual approval of the fiscal year 2025 SMART contract. Approval of changes to the 2025 planning fee schedule, and approval of Resolution 2025-18, the appointment of Director Kevin Lawrence to be the Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority Board representative for Van Buren Township.
Here a second.
Support.
I have a motion from Trustee Boynton, seconded by Clerk Wright. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We have no public hearing. I have no correspondence. Does anybody else have a correspondence or announcement?
Go ahead. I have a short one, but you can go first.
Good evening, Board. Just two quick announcements. First, starting on Friday at Van Buren Park, we are doing critical road repair work to the roadway that connects the front sections to the back sections of the park. And because of this, access to the back area and the beach will not be allowed. So therefore, the beach and back area will be closed as of Friday. We expect it to run it until the 18th tentatively. If we get an update on it opening sooner, we will alert everybody. So again, starting this weekend, if you need to cool off, because it is going to be back in the 90s, go back to the splash pad because the beach is closed. And then tomorrow at Quirk Park, the Real program and the Parks Department is hosting the Splashtastic Kids Fun Day from 11 a.m. to 1:30. will be at the pavilion, the playground, and the splash pad. the, the kids of the Real program, we were just winding down our year right now. We've done a lot of yard work for all the seniors in the community, and tomorrow is our day to interact with kids of all ages. So there'll be games, arts and crafts, activities at the splash pad all around, and Kona Ice will be there giving out some free flavored ice. So we invite everybody to come check it out. Again, it's tomorrow at Quirk Park at the Pavilion from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Wright.
Okay. So since today being election day in some areas, mostly cities, not here, even though we did get a lot of calls, I thought it'd be a good day to give an update in regards to our consolidation of our precincts in the township and the cemeteries that work that we're doing. With only having one election this calendar year, the clerk's office used the time to focus on long-term improvements, both in our election operations and how we care for our community cemeteries. It's been a year of meaningful progress, and I'm excited to share some of the news with you. First, in elections, we've upgraded our voting tabulators to the newest high-speed model. These machines process ballots twice as fast, which means shorter wait time for voters and a smoother experience at the polls. We also added a new high-speed ballot scanner. This will help us report results faster and more accurately on election night, something voters and election watchers really appreciate. We made voting easier and more consistent. We consolidated our precinct from 10 to 7 precincts, and we're reducing our voting locations from 7 sites to 2 fully equipped centralized locations. This change brings a lot of benefits. First, each site now has more experienced election workers and on-site technical support. That means issues can be addressed faster and operation run more smoother throughout the day. Secondly, voters will see a more standardized and familiar setup with consistent layouts, clear signage, and a simplified setup check-in process. It's easy to know, making it easier to know where you go and what to do, especially helpful for the first time and elderly voters. Fewer locations also mean tighter security, better oversight, and improved overall service. By focusing our staff and resources in 2 strong locations, we can offer a more professional, controlled voting environment that builds confidence in the election process. These changes aren't just about efficiency, they make our experience better for the voters. Outside of election, we also made big strides in the community cemeteries. In partnership with our Department of Public Works, we launched a beautification effort across all 4 cemeteries. This includes new landscape and updated fencing, in addition of ground markers to help visitors navigate and honor loved ones more easily. We also updated our internal cemetery procedure, which make our workflow more efficient and allowing us to provide better service to the public. These upgrades reflect our commitment to innovation, accessibility, and care for both our residents and the spaces that matter most in our community. We're proud of our progress we made this year, and we have more to come. Thank you.
Anyone else on the board have anything? Is there anyone in the public who would like to make a comment about any new business items? Okay, hearing none, there is no finished business. We'll move on to new business number 1. To consider approval of the section of Giffords Webster as the consultant for the township property development of the 181 acres of Belleville and Tyler Roads. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve of the selection of Giffords Webster as the consultant for the township property development of the 181 acres at Belleville and Tyler Roads.
Support.
Okay. I have a motion and I have that support, and I'll turn it over to Director of the DDA.
Good evening, Board. Thank you. Before you is the professional services agreement from Gibbles Webster, who is a recommended consultant who provided a presentation to you on July 17th. To complete the tasks described in the scope of work, market analysis, site feasibility and environmental due diligence, community engagement, conceptual development plan, final reports and summaries, and RFP assistance. This is for the 181 acre township property at Belleville and Tyler. This contract has been reviewed by the review committee as well as attorney Dave Greco. This will be split between the building and planning and DDA budgets 50-50 for in their contract in the consultant services line item. This will begin in fiscal year 25 and conclude in fiscal year 26. Should you approve, the next steps will be to sign and execute the agreement, and we will schedule a kickoff meeting to finalize the project start date. I'm happy to answer any questions, and we also have Nancy Standish from Gibbles Webster here as well if you have any questions.
Are there any questions from the board?
No questions.
I guess you did a good enough job when you presented. Nobody's got a question.
Go ahead.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
I just wanted to add for the review committee, Executive Director Coburn deserves a lot of extra credit. She led this committee, dealt with all the correspondence, a lot of the preparation documents, scheduling with the firms. So she really kept us very well organized and kept us a very smooth process. So I just wanted to say before you took vote and we moved on, she does deserve some extra recognition for the selection. That's all.
I just want to make a comment before we make the vote. I just want to go back in time a little bit and give you a little additional information on how this came into fruition. There's 181 acres. Well, I became clerk in 2008. 181 acres was there at the time I came in. And at one time, I think it came to the point where Ford, everybody, if you remember, was selling off properties, and they started selling some of their properties off, and they posted the properties across the street. Well, it was posted at such a high amount. We looked at it one time, and we were like, we can't afford to pay that amount for that property. Times got, I assume times got a little tighter, and they brought in a different property agent, different property agent. And I was driving to work one morning, I don't know if you remember, and I saw they had changed the sign. And because I know we had looked at the property at one time, and Kevin had just became about a year in as supervisor. And I asked Kevin, I said, what do you think about the property across the street? They didn't change the sign. You think they'll change the price? He said, I don't know. Why don't you investigate it? I said, you want to do it? You want me to do it? He's like, you go for it. So I called the guy and told him that the township may be interested in acquiring the property. I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. I thought he was going to return by saying, okay, well, this is the price. He said, can I make you an offer? And I said, sure. And he came back, and I told Kevin, I said, I think he's gonna make us an offer. And he came back with a price that we couldn't refuse. And we all three, I think we all were shocked at the price they came back with. So we bought the property immediately, and here we are today. I'm glad to see that this property is possibly can be used as a stepping stone to things that we want to see in the township and with things that we need. I know we don't know what's out there yet, but I'm just ecstatic to see that come to fruition, because that's been a long-term goal of mine. It was a vision of something I saw in the beginning, and I think I said this to the communication department this morning, and we was doing an interview for the state of the township. My belief is that a politician without a vision is just another politician. If you don't have a vision of what you want to see in your community, then why are you there? I think one thing I think is we all have in significant with each other, that we have a board that has a vision, and then we have a supervisor that leads that vision, and he communicates with us things that we think that the township needs, and we go out and we ask the public, what do they want, and we try to bring that to fruition. And we're doing a pretty good job at doing it. I just want to, again, thank the board for where we are right now as a township and what we're doing to make this better for our constituents.
It's an exciting project.
Well, thank you very much, Director Coburn. It was very nice for all that you did. Thank you for the presentation that you gave to the board, and I think there's probably no more questions. So I have a motion by Trustee Boynton, support by Clerk Wright, to accept the proposal. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 2, approval of a letter of understanding with the City of Belleville to provide interim construction code inspection and plan revision.
Through the chair,
Clerk
Make-
Wright.
make the motion to consider approval of a letter of understanding with the City of Belleville to provide interim construction code inspection and plan review services.
Support.
Support.
I have a motion with support. And now I will turn it over to Director Atkins.
Thank you very much. The building official for the city of Belleville has resubmitted his resignation, and due to this, they have approached us to provide interim building inspection plan review services for a temporary period of time until the city identifies how they're going to address the vacancy in their staff. We've evaluated our capacity to handle the added workload and have determined that with the current level of staff, additional work. Based on this, paired a letter of understanding between the township and the city outlining the pricing of the services and various expectations both parties will need to adhere to. The provided pricing mirrors our existing fee schedule and should add revenue to our department. While the department does not profit from providing services, it is expected that we will fully recoup our costs from providing those services. This letter of understanding was reviewed by our township attorney and was okay to proceed. And that concludes my summary, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions from the board?
No questions?
Well, thank you very much. We have a motion, Clerk Wright, support by Boynton, to approve the inter-construction code inspection and plan to services by the township. All in favor?
Aye.
One sign. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next one is to consider approval of a quote for HV units. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Martin?
I make a motion to approve the quote from W. O'Neill for 3 HVAC unit replacements at Township Hall in the amount of $69,659 to be paid from capital outlay account 101-265-7971-000.
Support.
I have a motion and support, and I am going to turn it over to Director Lebeck.
Well, good evening, board. I'm pleased to be before you this evening as we continue with our capital improvement of the township assets. Before you, I would like for you to consider approving the quote from W.J. O'Neill in the amount of $69,659. This will replace 3 of our rooftop units. It'll be Unit 6, Unit 8, and Unit 13. This will be paid out of our capital outlay account, 101-265-971-000. These 3 units were originally installed in 1995. So they hit their 30-year mark this year. Over the past few years, these units have cost the township over $10,000 to maintain them. Additionally, the state of Michigan has introduced a green initiative that we no longer use the type of freon that exists in those type units today. So if one of those units were to go down today, we would have to do retrofitting and all sorts of things to get them back in compliance with today's standards. With that, this is part of our capital improvement plan. we have a total of 14 of those units. This will be 3 of the last 7 units that need to be replaced. So we'll have another 4 over the next several years that we'll have to replace. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Are there any questions from the board?
I only have one. So you said we getting 3, right?
Yes.
Will one of them be replacing the helicopter on top of this building?
No, it won't, unfortunately. I'll see if we can tune that one up for you, Clerk Rapp. Yes.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, I have a motion from trustee Martin, support by trustee Boynton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you much. The next item is to consider a resolution to issue a new tavern license. Can I get a motion?
Yeah. I make the motion to consider approval of resolution 2025-19 to issue a new tavern license for on-premise alcohol consumption to Dungeons and Draw LLC, not relation to Black Draw. But it's a joke.
Do I get a second for that motion?
To the chair, I'll second that
Okay,
motion.
I have a motion in support, and I will turn it over to Director Akers.
Thank you. Dungeons and Draughts LLC has requested local approval of a new tavern license from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission for on-premise consumption of alcohol at their proposed business at 1000 Sumter Road. The MLCC retains significant authority to grant or deny licenses to businesses for alcohol sales, but in this instance, because a new license would be introduced to the township for on-premise consumption, the township also has local approval authority. Based on this NER ordinance, the applicant was requested to supply information in section 639 of the Code of Ordinances. In response to these requests, the applicant has provided the information which is listed in the memo in the staff report. I do want to highlight that the applicant is also subject to any zoning rules that may come out. So if there's any changes or reviews, they will need to comply with all the standards of our zoning ordinance. So they'll have to submit some information as well. This does not preclude them from meeting that. So if the Board of Trustees votes to approve this request, the resolution for local approval will be signed by the clerk and returned to the state of Michigan. As we had indicated previously, we considered these according to the online MLCC database. Van Buren Township has a Michigan-based quota of 20 on-premise retail licenses. 14 have been issued. The website shows that 6 available. However, as we all know, there was recently one approved for debuck, so that one is under consideration by the state of Michigan. I'm happy to answer any questions about the township code or ordinances. There is supporting documentation that was provided by Dungeons and Draughts LLC in the packet for your consideration. I also want to take this opportunity to introduce Hannah and Braden from Dungeons and Draughts LLC. They're going to come up here, give an overview of their business and what they're proposing to do.
Thank you to the board for hearing our request today. I'm Hannah Jones. This is my husband, Braden. We have been working towards opening a board game bar at the 1000 Sumter Road address. It'll be a fantasy-themed tavern, so think Lord of the Rings, where we will host a library of board games that people can come and play while enjoying beer, wine, and light food. We want this to be a very family-friendly community space where we can build a community of fellow nerds and have another community space that people can attend. We are asking for the board's support of a tavern license for our location, and we are happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions from the board?
What would be your hours?
So we were thinking during the weekday, or like during the weekdays, to close at approximately 9 p.m. and then later on the weekend, so about 10.
Opening.
In the mornings, probably about 10 or 11 a.m.
Because the kids from school will say, oh, there's a place we can go play games.
Yeah, so we'll be open in the afternoons for kids to come after school for sure.
I mean, during school, if you're open at 10, they'll skip and
We would not condone playing hooky. To
Yeah,
come,
I was
to
like-
come play board games.
okay.
Through the chair. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Is there any type of a game or a theme where we can like lose a member of the township board there as well? No. I'm joking. I'm joking.
We do know a game developer if you want to propose a new game.
There's gonna be a place where nerds hang out.
I'm a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a good idea. I mean, I haven't, first time I've heard of something like that in this area, and I know we have a lot of nerds around, so. But I think you attract some non-nerds too. Sounds interesting, so I may even come check it out. But I think sounds like something that something we need in the community. An added addition. I would be favorable for it.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, we have a motion from Clerk Wright, support by Trustee Frazier, to allow the issue of a new tavern license. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Have a good time.
I don't have any reports on the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment on a non-agenda item? Do we have anybody here that would like to make that kind of a comment? Hearing none, is there anyone that would like to make, of the board, that would like to make a comment on a non-agenda item? Yes, sir.
I would just like to say that I was at Van Buren Park this past Saturday, and I spoke to Mr. Locke, the Parks and Director, and I was pleased at how clean the park was. The grass was cut. They came and emptied the trash a couple of different times. The bathroom was clean, and I just want to thank them for doing a wonderful job at the parks, and I hope that they keep up the good work. And if this is any indication of how our other parks look, they're doing an excellent job.
Thank you. Any other comment? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion from Trustee Boynton, support by, was that Clerk Wright?
Right.
To adjourn, a motion to adjourn is not debatable. We stand adjourned at 6:28. Thank you and have a good evening.